and it's time to do relevance. So relevance at its very core is how well it relates to your topic. And the easiest way to describe this is to think about doing research on Elon Musk and maybe his SpaceX program. So if you were to be looking up SpaceX and you were looking up stuff about his aerospace company that sends ships into outer space, and we were to try and find out information about it, and we came across an article about him and his recent divorce with his wife. His article about his recent divorce may be about Elon Musk, but it's not relevant, it's not related to the topic in which you're doing. So the first question you need to ask yourself when you're doing research is, what aspect of your research question does this source answer? And if you find a source that isn't relating to the topic, then don't use that and go find another website. We often have a nasty habit of just Googling something and picking the first thing we find on Google. Now, that's not always going to be something that works. It usually does, but I'm going to show you guys an example of when it does not work. So I have started by asking the question, what is the best 3D printed coronavirus mask? Now, according to what some people do, is this article right here would be the best article on what the best mask would be. But that's not the way that Google search engines work. So if we take a look at this article over here, it's possible that this is related, it's relevant to our search question. It probably has to do with something about 3D printed coronavirus masks, but it may not necessarily be the best one because Google has a difficulty finding out what the best thing is because all it can provide you with is information. Dig into this source. But before we do, let's ask ourselves the second question, is the intended audience appropriate for academic research? So that's two things. First, if we look at the article, we want to know if for you it's understandable. If there are words that are just way above your reading level, this is not a good source for you, even if the source itself is acceptable. So looking at this question, let's figure out if it's appropriate for academic research, or for, in this case, what we're looking for. So this person over here, Signe Brewster, is writing about face masks. It looks like this is on a website of the Wirecutter over here. What's the purpose of this website? Maybe before believing this article, we just look up the Wirecutter and see what it is. Well, it looks like the New York Times owns it. The New York Times is a news source, so it's probably relating to news. And news is always trustworthy. We go on the website itself, and it kind of looks like it just has articles. So it is a news website, not necessarily an educational website. So when thinking about if the audience is appropriate for academic research, if it's news, probably not. Maybe for getting you started on like a question to dig into, but if it's not an education website, then it's not probably meant to educate. It's meant to either make money, profit. We'll get to that when we go down to purpose down there. But the idea is maybe this website does have something valuable for us. Maybe this would provide us a new piece of information. So looking at this article, it's saying what's the best way to 3D print a face shield. It's saying if you're already printing at home and you want to do it, the hardest step, Jackson's missing effort, local organizers, looks like they have a design, and this is something that they're reporting on. Check 3D printer maker, we can take a look at this and see that, oh, they're using this mask. So they're claiming that this one is potentially the best. Do we know it's the best? No. But we could then look into this. This is a .com, not necessarily an education one. Well, why should I believe this one? Maybe it's trustworthy, but we have to question that. Find a website like that, and we realize it is related to our topic. We want to find the best 3D printer. Perhaps this isn't meant for educational purposes, but it can be used to help you figure out what to dig deeper into. So going on this article over here, it's talking about face masks, face shields. It's got some information about it. So maybe I then want to go and change the website I use, and I want to specifically look for like an educational website. So maybe I'll say the same question that I asked before. What is the best 3D printed mask for coronavirus? But in this case, I put in quotes the words edu. So I only want an educational website to be released over here. Notice how this is edu, this is edu, this is edu, this is edu. So this educational university, obviously the intent is to educate, not to sell, not to give a news story. And we can take a look at what this one says. Now perhaps this one is better used for research, but we wouldn't have maybe found this if we didn't go to the first link on Google. So sometimes going to the first thing on Google can be helpful, but be cautious not to use it if it's not fully related to what you're looking for, and that is relevance.